I think as people get older, they need to think about how easy it is to get in and out of the car. If perhaps they're not quite so mobile as they once were, do the doors open wide enough? Is the seat high enough? Can you get out easily when you reach your destination? That's one of the things that I think people need to take account of if they're not quite as mobile as they used to be. You could look at adapting the car you have if you're perhaps less able than you used to be, or perhaps look at getting a different car. Obviously, if you stick with the car you've got, that's the less expensive option. And just doing things like adapting your driving position, sitting up a little bit higher, those kind of things can make a bit of a difference. But fundamentally, it may be time to think about a car which is more appropriate to your level of mobility and your needs as you're getting older. A car that's got a high up driving position, a car that's got really good all-round visibility, legible instruments, those kind of things are the sort of things you should be looking for in a car as you're getting older. If you're looking to make your current car more appropriate to your needs, a couple of things you could consider. Aftermarket parking sensors can make reversing into a tight parking space much easier. Also, a swivel seat cover for your existing seat can make it much easier to get into the car and then just swivel round and get into your driving position without any strain or difficulty. You can expect any car made in recent years to have a whole range of electronic safety aids, things like anti-lock brakes, which will prevent the wheels locking up under heavy braking, stability control, which will help you keep the car on the road if a skid starts to develop. Those kind of things are now commonplace or indeed compulsory on new cars and will make a big difference to your driving safety. There's also Euro NCAP, which most people are aware of, but for those who aren't, it's a road safety body that crash tests new cars and provides a rating out of 5 for overall occupant protection. They look at things like how well the car protects those in the front, how well the car protects children, pedestrian protection, safety systems that are fitted to the car, to come up with an overall balanced view of how well that car will protect you in an accident and how well it will help you keep away from an accident in the first place. If you find you're becoming less mobile, or perhaps you develop a condition like arthritis, you might want to consider an automatic instead of a manual car. They do make driving much easier, particularly in stop-start traffic, and the difference in fuel economy that there used to be between a manual car and an automatic, generally speaking, has closed up quite a lot, so you're not going to be looking at increased running costs running a modern auto. If you're looking for a car that's going to give you a high up driving position, you might want to consider either a 4x4, an MPV, or perhaps a crossover. A crossover, if you're not familiar with it, it's perhaps a bit of a modern marketing term, but they're cars that are somewhere between an MPV and a hatchback, or an MPV and a 4x4. They kind of split the difference between two different categories. But generally speaking, they will have a higher ride height and a relatively high up seating position that will make it that bit easier to get in and out if you're not feeling as mobile as you once did. If you're interested in a crossover vehicle, options to consider include the Nissan Qashqai, the Peugeot 3008 and the Skoda Yeti. If you want to be treated with respect at a dealership, and this really applies whatever your age, it's not just something for more senior drivers, do your research before you get in the showroom. There's so much information available out there now, not just through traditional outlets like print brochures and magazines, but with the internet. If you can get online, do some research before you head to the showroom. Knowledge is power. If you know what you want before you head to the showroom, it'll be that much more difficult for a salesman who perhaps has targets to meet or a car that they're struggling to shift to point you in the direction of something that doesn't really suit your needs. A few tips before you head to the showroom. It's worth making a list of all the requirements you have from a car and the things that you want to ask of the dealer, so that by the time you leave the showroom, you know that the car you're interested in has fulfilled all your needs and you've asked all the questions you need to ask of the dealer. Also, research prices before you head into the showroom. That applies whether you're buying a new or used car. You're going to have to haggle if you want to get a good deal, and you'll know when you've got a good deal if you've already found what the prices are online, what kind of deals are available. If you don't feel confident negotiating, take someone with you. It's a useful thing anyway, whatever your age, to have an independent pair of eyes to sort of cast an independent view over the car and give you honest advice as to whether they think the car is going to suit you and fit in with your life.